Welcome back guys. So in this video we are going to see how we can create a reusable component. So the scenarios will be multiple, like let's say if you want to show tables which just displaying the list of columns and the list of data also. It doesn't have any buttons and everything. Okay. So rather than creating all the tables, HTML tables and using ng for all over the places, we can create a reusable component of that. The component will be like we just have to pass the column array, like what will be my headings and the actual data. So that's it. With that much code, the same thing what you are seeing now will be rendered. Okay. So let me show you the code. This is a just simple new project I have created. The package version Angular version is Angular 12. It doesn't matter, like with the latest also code will be same. Okay. In app module, I have added HTTP client module because I'm going to use the JSON placeholder users API. So this is the API which gives us this response. So for that, I need HTTP client module. Then in user component, I have created one method load users in that HTTP client.get, and I have passed my API. Then whatever the result I got, I am storing it in the user list, and this user list variable I'm using on the table. So this is our multiple repeatable code if we have to, if we need the same kind of structure over the multiple component. Okay, so now we just have to make this thing into a reusable component. Okay, so let's start with, so I have already created one component, that is my table. So what we need here is like this table only. So let's copy it from the row, paste it over here. Okay, so now first thing, like we need to make this also dynamic, right? So for this we need one input at the rate, let's add input over here. So at the rate input, my column list, it will be of string array. Let's initialize it with 0. Okay, so this is my first input, that will be the heading array. Let's make it heading only. Next thing, as we got the headings, I can use it over here. So instead of static th, I will use it ng for over here. Let head of my variable name, and instead of the static one, I will use the interpolation to print the current head. That will be here. So now we don't need this. Okay. So I'm just going to comment it for now. So let's just save and check whatever we have done till now. Okay, so this is my selector app my table. This we will use into user component instead of this table. Instead of it, I will use my table. Since for this component we have one input, so we need to pass it, and input name is head array. That we will pass it over here is equal to double quotes. Let's create a variable which will have our array list, right? Array is equal to square bracket in single quote. So first will be serial number, then name, email, city. Let's see what things we have. Okay, phone is there. Phone. So for now we are keeping the heading name as same as the column, like the field we have. Okay, I will tell you the reason in some time. For now, just remove the serial number as well. Then we have website over here, Okay, so only 4 columns we are taking. This we have to pass to my input here. Let's save and check like what do we get. Okay, so as you can see in the table we have got the headings. It is dynamic whatever we have passed. Okay, now next thing is like in here we just need to make this t body dynamic. So for that we need a tr. So on tr again for loop will be the same. Okay, let's remove the index for now. Now instead of user list we need a second input that will be my actual data. So instead of head array it will be grid array, and this we will use over here. So we need that number of tr, what number of records I am going to have. Okay, now the actual logic lies here, td. Okay, so what number of tds we need, because tds also we need to make it dynamic, like what number of columns I have, that number of tds should be plotted. Okay, so for that on the td I will use my for loop for the head array, because what number of headings I have, same number of columns should be there. So let's make it, let's just see now this much. Let's save, and this also grid array we need to pass now from our parent component. Here inside square bracket grid array is equal to now our actual data. In users list we have our actual data, so let's pass it on. Let's save and check. Now in table we have static data 111 printed, so let's check like yeah. So see we have 4 columns, so likewise 4 columns are being printed in t-body as well, like what number of rows I have. Okay, so 10 records were there, so 10 trs are also being plotted, and in that particular tr same number of columns are also being plotted. Okay, so now what we have to do on the name column, we just have to display our actual record. Okay, so for that let me print you item, like what do we get in item. So once we print the item, and before that I am printing my head also. So it is a string and when item is an array, so I have to use the JSON type. So let's save and check. Okay, so see in the name column we have name, and in the object we have name property, right? So to extract that value from the object we just need to do like this, item dot name. Okay, so we have to enclose in the square bracket. Why it is giving error? Okay, item dot head we have to pass. Okay, so this error is because we don't have, we have here in string, so let's make it any. Okay, now let's just get rid of this printing. So what we are doing, from item object we are trying to print the whatever the column name we have. Let's save and check now. Okay, so you can see below that column same number of same data has been printed. Okay, this is just a basic. Now one more thing we need the serial number. Okay, so for that let's just add a serial number over here, or in the table itself we need a static th which will be serial number. Okay, and one static td here that will be index. So from ng for we can get the index using index. So we are storing index into sr. Now we just need to print it. So normally indexing start from the 0, so we just have to increment it by 1 plus 1. Let's save and check. Okay, so you can see same output we got. Why it is showing error now? Okay, So this is the simple reusable table we can develop. Now let's say we need edit and delete buttons also in this reusable table. So to achieve that, or let's say first consider a scenario like this is properties we have in that object, right? But headings can be anything, right? It can be capital name, it can be capital email. So we should, when we are designing a reusable table, we should have control, we should make everything dynamic. Okay, nothing can be static. In this case, like we need to pass the same heading name which is present in my object. Same name should be present. But to make it dynamic, we can create object. Instead of this, let's make it any, and in head array, we will pass the object like, let's say my object name is head colon, my heading name will be, let's say, name or username to be specific. Then my field name, what will be my field name out of that array, so that I will use it over here. So this is my one object. Like this I have to prepare multiple. Okay, so now this property will go over here, phone will go over here, field name, and website will go over here. Instead of this, email, contact, and website. So now since we are sending object array, okay, now same we have to use over my reusable component also. Now instead of head directly, I will use head dot head. Okay, and so my head name will be printed, and instead of here head dot field name I need to use. So now if we see column names are something different, but still data is visible. That is because we have sent complete object. So head will be like used in the th only, and field name will be used in the td only. Okay, so same output we have got. Now code is also very less, and you can use the same table over multiple component. Okay, next thing, if we need buttons, let's say we need edit and delete button at the last column. So for that, let's just add a one more input, like do we need the edit and delete button or not. So for that we can have is action. Okay, so is action can be boolean. Let's make it by default false. Okay, now this boolean flag I will be using after my all the all the headings being plotted. After that I can use it, star ng if. Okay, so if this variable we have got the value as true, then only this heading will be plotted. Okay, so let's just test this. Is action, what we have to send from here, is action is equal to true. Let's save and check. So we are sending true, so that should be plotted. Yeah, so you can see action column is being added. Let's make it false, so that is not visible. Okay, so since if we send it true, in all the column after the data we need edit and the delete button. So for that, in my table, after all the tds have been plotted, or in this only, we can add a check where we can have a div if action is there. Okay, we just need to make one more change. Instead of using this what we can say separate variable, we can add an object in my head array only. So let's remove this because we are already sending one object, so let's make use of that. Now here the last column, if we need the action item, so here we can make head will be action and field name will be empty. Okay, so like same check we can add here. Header will be plotted like the same. What is the error? Is action. Okay, so since we have removed this, we don't need this. Let's save and check if we get the same output. Yeah, so same output we have got. Action is being plotted. Now in here, so since we are using header only, so you can use head star ng if head dot if field name. You can see for the last object field name is empty. So if we have the field name empty, means it is a action column, right? Let's copy paste this. If it is not action column, is equal to not equal to empty, then means we just have to print the data whatever we have. Why it is giving error? Okay, compilation time. If it is equal to empty, then we need those two buttons. Okay, so let's add buttons. Primary, just the color I'm adding. Edit, one more button that will be for delete. Okay, so like on click of this, we need to emit the data also. Like the click handler will be in my parent component, right? So we need the whatever the row I'm editing. Let's just first see like how it is being printed. Yeah, so you can see edit and delete button is plotted. Let's just add one class, margin left 2. So let's see if we have the gap. Okay, so in Bootstrap, what is the class? So I'm using Bootstrap 5, so I think classes are being changed. So I will just for now I will write the style margin left. Let's make it 10 pixel. Okay, then we will assign it to center as well. Center. Okay, so what I need now, once I click on the edit, I will need this row data into my parent component, that is user, right? Because if we have the click handler into that component only, what is the use of that? So I need the data. Once I click on here reusable component, I need that data into my parent component. So for that we need one output. So let's create an output. Let's add just here. We need output and event emitter to emit the data. So for that, output opening closing on edit new event emitter of data type any. Just give it a time, it will. Okay, so this is one output which will be for edit and second on delete. Okay, so now we just need a local function also on edit. Here we will have item colon any. Same functions will be like delete. Okay, now we need to call this function on my buttons. Normal click event. And we need to pass the object also. So object we will be passing like complete item. Same thing for delete also. Okay, so now from this local function we just need to emit the data on edit dot emit, and we need to pass item. Same thing in delete function as well. Instead of on edit, it will be on delete. Okay, so now we have two output. First there was two input, and now there are two outputs. So now we need to add these callbacks in my user HTML. So these are the input. After that we have one output we write like in round bracket, just as like the function. So we need a local function in user component also to get the callback. So let's say edit user. Now this function name can be anything, because this function is limited to your parent component. Okay, I will be getting one item as an input. Same delete user. Okay, now I just need to pass this into my user component. Okay, so from output my table component I am sending data also. So to catch that data I just need a parameter which is $event. Okay, same thing I need for the output delete also, on delete, and in user component on delete, and my user component function, that is delete user. So let's just add the debugger everywhere so that we can see how data get emitted. Now in here also let's save on and check. Okay, so let's click on edit. So on click of edit, first debugger will be from the reusable table. Okay, so you can see in my table we have got the debugger, and in item we have got the current row. So you can see current row was linen gram. So you can see that once I emit the data from here, I will get the callback in my user component in, and same data you can see here. Now you can do anything on the parent component. Okay, let's check the delete also. So now we have got the my table event from the delete, and same we will get in here also. Okay, so this is how we create a reusable table. Again, here we can have a common search box, pagination, and everything you can have. Rather than writing the same code and designing the same HTML in all the components wherever you need the table, you can have the reusable component. This will reduce your code and increase your code efficiency. Okay, so that's it with the current video. Following with the same, in next video we will try to implement the search thing. So we will have a search box here and a basic pagination. Okay, till then, thank you. Please do like, subscribe. I will upload this code. Okay, the same in link you will get in the video links. So please do like and subscribe. Thank you.